Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Idaho listeners. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. What is the Great Idaho Show? It's everything that is great about Idaho. Today, we are going to be speaking to Jennifer Mauk, the executive director of Buy Idaho. But you know, we have those sponsors out there, folks. We've really got to shout out for them because they make these radio show programs possible. Old Arms of Idaho, your ambassadors to America's heritage, Western firearms and militaria. It's about the collectibles. Think of them like the Antique Roadshow for your special stuff. Give them a shout or look them up at oldarmsofidaho.com. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited. I've been associated to Buy Idaho lightly for a long time, but it was a long time ago, even back when the office was in the old 8th Street Marketplace, which I miss dearly, actually.
Yeah, it was a great spot below Bodovino.
Yeah, that was such a cool spot. Yeah. Such long history there. It's too bad that good old brick building can't be there anymore.
Yeah.
But, I just want to spend this first segment trying to find out more about you. Tell us a little bit about your Idaho story.
Sure. I was actually born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Okay, cool.
And I went to Florida State, go Noles. And I came out here to visit family that had lived out here while I was in college. And then as soon as I was done, I decided that I was going to move out here. I actually came on vacation, fell in love with it, and stayed. So that was in 2003. So I've been here quite a while.
Yeah.
It was like Mayberry, and coming from a big city like Miami, Florida, I came out here and
goodness.
was like, 2003. There wasn't all the development that we see now. So it was a different way of life, and mountains were a big draw to me.
So what do you love about Idaho? That's like my favorite question ever.
You can get in water and nothing's going to really kill you.
In Florida, you've got those big, nasty snakes, alligators, spiders, poisonous things everywhere.
Yeah. You can't just jump in a body of water. My first time in McCall, it took my family probably 30 minutes to convince me that there was nothing in the lake that was going to eat me. So I finally bombed off one of the rocks and discovered what, glacier lake water
oh my gosh,
like,
what do they call
amazing.
it? Refreshing.
It was refreshing.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, and then you couldn't get me out of it to this day.
It's funny when I've always remembered being in a life jacket in the lake and your dangly little feet down there, and whether you think something's down there or not, it sure feels like you're about to get nommed on, right?
My favorite part is we just did the Cabarton this summer,
okay.
And floating down the river at the end part after the last bowl, getting out into the river in your life jacket and just doing that slow float down to the takeout. That's the best.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. So, how did you get to the role of executive director for Buy Idaho? Let's go into that.
I fell into it backwards, that's for sure. I was a social worker in my past life. So I worked with adults and children and at-risk teens in Florida and then out here in Idaho. I had a girlfriend that was working at Buy Idaho, and she called me one day and said, I'm going to go back to the banking world. I think you'd really like this.
Yeah.
And so I went in and interviewed with Sandy Anderson, who is now at the Boise Chamber. She was the executive director prior to me. And she and I clicked, and she offered me the job. And and I started working and just really fell in love with working with local business owners. It's still kind of social work in a way.
It kind of is,
right? Finding what they need,
sure.
And finding solutions for them and resources in the community. So I took to it really easily. And so, I started working with Sandy, and we started creating events and really trying to promote people to the community and expose the local businesses so that people knew who they were. So
it is really challenging being a small business because, in the corporate world, you've got this master plan and it's mastered out. There's
right.
little bits here's and there's, and the states are always there to open the doors and be like, come on in, let's help you out.
Right.
You're a small business, and it's you're
lonely.
out there in the lonely desert,
Yeah.
And so many little impacts of whether your credit card collection system or your business requirements for reporting, depending on what you're doing, and so many little things. How do you see Idaho in all of that, or how does Buy Idaho associate to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with businesses that are just starting up. I mean, somebody that has a bright idea that they're still working in their basement, all the way up to, Micron is a member.
Yeah.
So we work with businesses wherever they are. When they come to us, we chat with them. I have a new coworker, Greta. She's been with me for about 2 years. She has a wealth of knowledge. She was a buyer and a manager for Bed Bath & Beyond for, 2 decades.
Yeah.
And she was a bar and restaurant owner. I have a history in running, I was a broker for medical supplies and produce and realtors. Greta and I are both realtors. I mean, so we kind of
But
have
so
our
you have
hands
a great
in
slice of
all of our
business.
Yeah, exactly. So we meet with people and we find out where they are, what they've already accomplished, what their structure is. We'll kind of point them in the right directions. We're not going to sit and write your business plan with you because that's not really where our time is best spent. So, but we point people to resources. So, the SBDC, is a wonderful free resource for businesses. They'll go through all of those things with them, make sure their structure's correct, get them ready for funding. And then, we just work with them at that point to get them to the community. We have wonderful partnerships across the state. So if people are looking for marketing or advertising, some of the restaurants and radio stations and partnerships that we have, if they need education, there's lots of education out there. A lot of it's free. Some of it you have to pay for. Depends on where you are in your business. And then connection to funding. If people are ready to scale, are their finances actually ready to go see a banker, or do they need alternative forms of funding?
Yeah.
And then when they're ready to exit, is your business sellable? Is it separated from your personal finances? And
Absolutely.
how do you untangle your life from the thing that you built, and you're not the thing that you're trying to sell? The business has to be what you're trying to sell, not your reputation. So,
absolutely, right? Yeah. If you have to sell your reputation with it, then not too many people are, they want their reputation behind that business.
Right.
Which I've had a few friends that have experienced that before.
It's hard, you spend your entire life, your blood, sweat, and tears building up something that you're proud of and that you built up from the ground up, and then it's time to sell it or, do the succession planning for it, and it's your baby. So how do you separate yourself from this beautiful thing that you build?
And what are we building these businesses for? To work till we're 80 within them, right? And having a proper documentation of your profit and loss and balance sheet, and getting prepared for a loan. I mean, a small business administration loan is not just a simple little thing. No. Preparing for it, preparing the information for it, and trying to submit something that is what the banks want to see. Mm-hmm. Because you can submit it, fill in the blanks however you want, but they want to see it in a very, very specific format.
Very specific, yeah. And you have to have a plan, and you have to have all your projections, and it's not just a hope and a dream. You have to actually have it really well mapped out. So there's lots of wonderful resources, like I said, for those things, that we help point businesses in the direction of.
Well, I think what's interesting about this opening segment, Jennifer, is that business is challenging. And to get one going, I've lived on a saying, the only difference between those that do and those that don't is those that do just did. And you just got to get out there and pick up the phone, and you'll start figuring it out. And maybe you ought to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day to work through all that. But, that's the supportive side of Buy Idaho. But, man, the fun side of Buy Idaho, which is about promoting your Idaho business. Let's Buy Idaho, the mission of Idaho, supporting the businesses that are all Idaho. I mean, let's get rolling into that next segment, and I can't wait,
Absolutely.
So you got a lot to share with that.
Yeah, I love to say Idahoans love Idaho. So they support their own. So
yeah, and that is so important. It's why I'm doing this of what I'm doing. And it's like, why, why are you the executive director of Buy Idaho? I got to assume that Jennifer loves Idaho.
I do. When Sandy and I were working together, she said, I've got this opportunity at the Boise Chamber, and handed me the keys to the castle and said, now run with it.
Yeah.
There hasn't been that many directors of Buy Idaho. So I think each one has stayed for a very significant amount of time because it is such a wonderful organization, and the people that join Buy Idaho join it because they understand the importance of local and what that does to our economy. And it's filled with some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so much opportunity in focusing local in your business. I mean, that concept of building a business to be a nationwide impact and end up selling out and going to the scale. But, that's like the centralized business that everybody's tired of. You can have so much power and versatility of just being wonderfully local.
Yeah.
And we're in Idaho, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
goodness
a reason
gracious.
so many people are moving here. It's because it is such a wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
It has so much to offer, and the quality of life is just, it's hands down the best I've ever experienced, for
And
sure.
by Idaho, I mean, goodness, you're coming into a legacy. It's not like it started yesterday.
No.
I think it was, what year?
1986.
86, yeah.
It's been around for a long time.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Well, let's go into Buy Idaho, the mission of Buy Idaho. You got a draft of the history here just a little bit. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. We're sitting with Jennifer Mauk, the executive director of Buy Idaho, and I'm just so thankful that you took a minute to come in today. We'll get into this next segment on more about the good sides of Buy Idaho and what it's all doing. Hello, KIDO. Welcome back. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show, thegreatidahoshow.com, where you can go listen to lots of people that is great about Idaho, lots of initiatives, 24 hours a day, thegreatidahoshow.com. And don't forget Old Arms of Idaho. They are the ambassadors to America's heritage, the 24-hour gun show, Western military of firearms, the collectibles, folks. That is our heritage. So, again, we're visiting with Jennifer Mauk of Buy Idaho. She is the executive director. In this last segment, we were talking a little bit about how she came to Idaho and why coming to Idaho. But now let's get into a little bit about Buy Idaho. That is what it's all about. We should be buying local.
Yes.
Buy Idaho.
Please.
You're supporting a very important economy. Small business represents nearly half of all business that transpires. You represent half of everything business here in Idaho.
Yeah. Try to.
Yeah.
Try to, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have over 57,000 locally owned businesses in the state of Idaho and growing. That was the last, the numbers that Commerce put out.
Sure.
But I'm sure by now it has grown tremendously with the influx of people who have discovered our great state.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so scary, but it's so awesome. There's so many good people.
I know that it's a very touchy point for some people,
Sure.
but the Idaho has always been interesting for me, coming from a big city, because it was always just, slightly a little slower, slightly a little behind in the development and when things finally got here. And it feels like in the last couple of years we've sped up and we've caught up, you know, and that has a big part to do with people moving here and bringing ideas and industry and small businesses and saying, this is a place to do business. So instead of working for somebody, why don't we start our own? So it adds to the quality of life that people are looking for here. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
So Buy Idaho, some listeners may not know.
Okay.
What is Buy Idaho? How did it get started? A little bit more of that, maybe resume.
Sure. In 1986, this was pre-real internet function.
Yeah.
There were some pretty important people in town that didn't know how to source local. They said, well, who's up in Lewiston and who's up in Coeur d'Alene? Like, we don't even know
Sure.
who these local businesses are. So they created Buy Idaho. And then the first executive director was a gentleman named Dale Peterson. And he hopped in the car and they drove around the state and they met the local businesses and they created our directory. And they brought it all back to Boise and they printed it and then they set out again and they drove around the state and they delivered it to everybody. and said, like, these are the locally owned businesses. This is who you should be doing business with. So if you need anything, paper, CPAs, copy machines, a plumber,
Sure.
anything, these are who those folks are. So we continue that tradition today. We do print our directory every year, just because there's something about tradition with it and having something to hold of, these are the local businesses in your neighborhood.
Well, it's a directory of pride, I would think. I mean, it's a wonderful brand. Buy Idaho. My goodness, let's keep saying it out there. Buy Idaho, folks. I'm a believer too. I run a small business in Idaho, and we should be every chance we get.
Yeah. And one of the misconceptions that we often have is that it's just products, right? That it's
Yeah.
just the chapsticks and the beard balms and things like that. But it is the service industry as well. I mean, it's everything from the trades to the CPAs and the lawyers. And, you need all of the different industries in order to survive in business. So, where you're sourcing your packaging and your labels. And
Yes.
your ink, and all of that can be sourced local. You just need to know where to look. And that's Buy Idaho.
It's such a wonderful motivation. And I think there's even a misconception that because it is small business, it might have to just be more expensive and you're paying local to support something. And I don't think that that's utterly true, honestly.
Not necessarily. It definitely depends on the product, of course.
Sure.
But no, you can buy a locally made chapstick just as well as you can buy a national brand chapstick. Often they're right next to each other. You just need to know what you're looking for.
Sure.
Balm Shot. I mean, it's at DMB at the checkout. I mean, there's chapstick and then there's Balm Shot. I mean, you can pick Balm Shot, and it's not going to melt in your pocket.
So thank you for saying that too. That is another wonderful example of like we have Idaho-based products that are in more of I don't know if DMB is necessarily a national, but it is certainly a big chain, and that's supporting each other, which is really cool.
No, DMB is headquartered here, so
That's true, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I go to DMB every week of my life.
They're a huge supporter of local products. They work very easily and well with local products. I mean, you can call their buyers and get a meeting with them, and we have a wholesale market now through Buy Idaho, so they came as buyers, so they get to come and touch and taste and feel the local product. I mean, the jerkies, the seasonings, the chapsticks, the shirts, the whatever it may be, the candles. And they carry them inside the stores.
I can't believe I didn't realize that. I love that. I literally go to DMB every week.
Yeah, keep going.
I will. I have to say, DMB has always been. I come from a service industry too, and I had an issue one time where they had to go track down one of my payments on a card and welcomed me right into the administrative office. And this wonderful person had worked really diligently hard when in normal corporate America business, it was just like, yeah, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you.
Right.
But they certainly above and beyond, just in a true community sense. So I'm so thankful to know that is headquartered right here in Boise.
Yeah. No, they're great. They're a great asset to our community for sure.
Well, so what's a moment you saw where the mission of Buy Idaho really had an impact? What's your favorite?
We do an event every year called the Capitol Show inside the state capitol. It's in February, this year, February 25th in 2026.
Okay.
And that event is kind of like a reunion every year. It's right after the holidays. It's during what's really still a cold part of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's kind of been holed up, and we go into the Capitol. We're the only organization that's allowed to hold an event of this size inside the Capitol. So we take over all 4 floors of the rotunda with 100 locally owned businesses and partners, and they do a one-day showcase of local. And the energy that is in that rotunda for this day is palpable. It is, people are so excited to see each other. Some of them haven't seen each other in a whole year since the last show. And, for a local business to get that many people coming through to want to shake your hand and meet you.
Yeah.
They are so excited. You can't sell anything inside the Capitol, right? I mean, there's a statute that says that we can't sell anything.
Sure.
So this is just a marketing event. And for people to return year after year after year to get a booth here just to market that they're local. I mean, we get about 3,000 people that come through in one day just to meet local businesses. And it's during session. So, the local government and the governor and the mayor, they all usually come to the booths. But then you have 99 other businesses that are there that are so excited to see what other businesses are showcasing there, because they realize that they kind of have the same, the same vein of what they find important. And that's this local economy. Like, how are they contributing to our success? We have a very diverse economy in Idaho. We're not driven by just one industry. So we have a very diverse economy. And so meeting those businesses that kind of make it up and they're all locally owned is really cool, because you know that you're not in the boat alone,
Yeah.
There's other people that you can share your stories with. And so many connections happen at that show. Businesses learn how to partner together. We have
co-marketing, all the stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've got a jerky and you white label, all of a sudden you'll find 5 big corporate companies that are here that are looking for, 500 packs for their employees for their Christmas baskets.
Yes.
Things like that. Those kinds of connections get made. Spice companies meet up with jerky companies, and nut companies meet up with chocolate companies, and they do collaborations, and then they release new products, and they're really cool. It's really awesome to be a part of.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that when we get into this next segment. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. We are talking to Jennifer Mauk. Jennifer Mauk is the executive director of Buy Idaho. Buy Idaho, folks, don't forget it. Idaho's amazing, and you should be supporting those small businesses. We'll be right back. KIDO, welcome back. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show, thegreatidahoshow.com. What is great about Idaho today? Jennifer Mauk, the executive director of Buy Idaho. Buy Idaho is great. Any business in Idaho that was born and rooted and growing here in Idaho, buy it. If they've got a headquarters that wasn't in Idaho, then it is in Idaho, if you ask me. And I think that Jennifer was just talking about the wonderful event that you do in the Capitol building. What was the name of that event again?
The Capitol Show.
The Capitol Show. Mm-hmm. So I went to that, Gads, 20 years ago. It's been going on for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went quite some time ago, and just visually, there's so much energy. And the Capitol building and the many layers and the rotunda, you have some of Boise, Idaho's greatest food right out the front door. It's cold out there in the winter and there's not a lot to do. I can't think of anything better to do on that day. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's good. It's free. It's open to the community. We invite everybody to always come down and check out these local businesses. It's from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. So, everybody can come.
Well, as we get closer to that, I'd certainly love to support, any way that I could to help people know that event is available and something that we certainly should be doing. It's a Saturday, I'm guessing?
No, it's I think it's a Thursday this year.
Oh, it's a Thursday.
Yeah,
okay.
It's during the work days, which I get some pushback sometimes from businesses, that it is a work day and it's hard for people to get off work to either come visit or come and set up. And what I say is, come if you can, because if you can sneak out at your lunch hour and come walk the floors, it's worth it. And, if you can give up one day of being in the field or at the office, it gives back tenfold.
Well, I love the giving back part. What do you measure your success in Buy Idaho? How do you... there's that emotional success. Have you heard the story of, and John and Kathy went and did this, or how do you measure it?
It's really that, it really is just that, watching the businesses succeed, watching them hit their next goals. There's a chocolate lady that we're very fond of, and she came to Idaho and said, I have this great chocolate. I mean, now she's in the airport. She's selling.
Oh, what's her name?
Sweet Lisa's.
Lisa's in the airport.
Yeah, Sweet Lisa's.
That's Idaho, folks.
Yeah, so she made a beautiful new bar, and And she works with a local manufacturer that hires refugee women and teaches them skills. So, it's the give back goes on so many different layers. And that's one of the things that I love the most. For being with Buy Idaho for a decade now,
Yeah.
I'm really well versed on, who's doing what in the state for the most part, and connecting people in the right way. I don't just connect people randomly. I really try to get to know them and make those connections be really meaningful so that they work.
I think that's the beauty of a business itself, is you can make it what it needs to be for you, but that also means that there is not just some check off list cookie cutter thing that you do to make your business successful.
Yeah.
Every one of them is just immensely different with different challenges across the board.
And people are wicked smart. I mean, like the things that they come up with for businesses or their, t-shirt brand. I mean, there's a company called Mash Idaho that is kind of a play on their last name, and they're highlighting all of the different places in Idaho that sound like they could kill you if you went to them, like the Snake River and Hell's Canyon. And
That's
all
just
the
being
things.
creative,
and
right?
Their shirts are so smart. I mean, they are funny. They give you a factoid. They are well designed, and for the tongue-in-cheek folks in Idaho that like to have a little fun with what Idaho has to offer. I mean, it's fantastic.
Well, in the essence of what Buy Idaho is about, which is sharing what you can buy of Idaho, what is the name of that wonderful company again?
Mash Idaho.
Mash Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds just like one of the great, you had a family member come from Florida for Christmas and it's like, they need one of these shirts, it's like, this is what Idaho is, creativity.
They're funny. Yeah, the shirts are funny. But we have tons of businesses like that, So if anybody's ever looking for anything, they can go to our website. We do have a directory that'll give you direct links to the local businesses. And if you don't find what you're looking for, it's as easy as calling us and we will go find it. That's kind of what happened with, excuse me, with the Boise airport. Their buyer was in town from Atlanta and said, I need to go visit, 17 local businesses to go find products to bring into the airport. And I said, you obviously haven't been to the Treasure Valley in a while. You're not hitting 17 businesses in one day.
Yeah.
Our traffic is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I brought them all to Buy Idaho and we did like a buying event. And she ended up taking all of those local products into the Boise airport. So, and now we're co-branded with them in all their new stores. And we're kind of, if anybody wants to get their products, food or, shirts or anything, all they have to do is call us and we help connect them with local retail locations and introduce them so that they can get their products carried different places.
I mean, what a great moment. So much anticipation. Hey, we're all going to go down and meet at this place. And this person we've never met before that has a buying power, and then all of a sudden, every single one of them, I'm assuming out there in the airport, the airport most airports have their things that they show across the walls and stuff. And there's the Buy Idaho logo in there.
Yep.
With all local businesses for people traveling from out of town to just be aware of right about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the greatest spot to go, grab something, if you forget a host or hostess gift on your way out of town.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been caught doing that. And thank goodness there are so many great local products that are there that you can grab on the way out.
It is so much fun to be creative in gift shopping, and Buy Idaho will link you right to it through the website, it sounds like.
Yep.
And we were talking previously about the Capitol event, which is February 25th.
February 25th.
A Thursday.
Yeah.
What a great day at the Capitol.
Yeah. And our wholesale market, that's where we invite buyers of any kind of retail location to come, and it's in May. They're invited. It's free for buyers to come. They just have to register, but we can have up to 200 local products inside our wholesale market in May. So it's a private industry event. It's not open to the public. It's strictly for buyers and producers. That is one of our main goals, is to help people that want to sell retail.
Sure.
They can sell direct to consumer all day long, but then if they want to sell wholesale, like, how do you do that? How do you switch your business model from being a cottage industry to selling wholesale?
Yeah,
And
focus on production.
Yeah.
Focus on efficiency. Focus on output.
Yeah, and how your pricing differs.
Sure.
How do you break that down? So, I mean, that's what we're here to educate for, and then we're providing this market where these local products can go and display, and the buyers come in and greet them, and it was really successful 2 years ago when we did it. So we're looking forward to doing it again next year.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. As a small business person, that motivates me. It's hard to get those opportunities, and it's hard to connect and network in those ways. And it sounds like Buy Idaho is making some big leap steps for a lot of Idaho businesses. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. We're talking to Jennifer Mauk, the executive director of Buy Idaho. Are you listening out there? Are you hearing what this is? Go Buy Idaho today. Go to buyidaho.com.
.org.
Oh, .org. Thank you. See,
Buyidaho.org.
this is the one beautiful thing.
We're a nonprofit.
They don't profit out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I never claimed to be a professional at radio, but I love it. And I love it when I even make mistakes, because it's okay. We all do. So we'll be right back here, and we'll just keep talking about these wonderful events and how you're supporting Idaho business. Ladies and gentlemen, KIDO, you're out there, 580 AM, 107.5 FM, the utter best radio station in Idaho. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I'm so proud to have Jennifer Mauk with me from Buy Idaho. Last segment, we were talking about this wholesale market opportunity that you've put together. It sounds like that's pretty recent.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, and then we're going to be doing another one in May of 2026 out at the new Caldwell events, the Expo Center that was built at in Caldwell. It's beautiful, state of the art, great location, ample parking.
Yeah.
And kind of centrally located enough that we can make it as convenient as we can for people to convene in one place.
Yeah, I mean, when you refer to the Treasure Valley, it's very big.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of small businesses that do reach out to that eastern Idaho border,
Right.
or western Idaho border, if you will.
Yeah.
And that is so nice, especially to come to a new facility. Folks, what we were talking about, if you're just tuning in, is that Jennifer of Buy Idaho had helped organize a wholesale buying event where members of Buy Idaho specifically are able to share their wares to national buyers of products, or buyers, period,
Yeah.
and get a preview of all of this stuff in one consolidated little space. And it sounds like when you were telling me that one person who had to go meet 17 businesses,
Yeah.
well, why put them in the car knocking on doors when you can put them all into one spot?
Exactly. And we invite anybody that's looking to do buying like that to contact us, because we will put together small buying events for any retail location that's looking to carry local. We do anything that we can to support the businesses. So, if it's our every 2 years, we're going to do the big wholesale market.
Yeah.
But then in between, if people have needs, all they have to do is call. We like to say that we're just kind of your extended business team. So on the member side, we help members find all of the resources that they need, and then we invite people that are looking to support local to contact us, and we will point them in the right direction for whatever it is that they need.
Well,
So,
finding people at a wholesale level to buy your product, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
A lot of small businesses get started with an idea or a product, and it's something that they've been dabbling in, and I'm going to make a business out of it. Well, guess what? Just the making of the product is a quarter of the battle.
exactly. And then they get to a point where they're making enough to be in retail,
Yeah.
right? But then they have to distribute, then they have to go make their product, and then they have to market their product, and there's not enough hours in the day for all of that. So scaling is also a big thing that we work with businesses to help them make the leap, find the resources to make it not hurt as much,
Sure.
and to actually reach their goals. So it's all industry specific and category specific, but we definitely do help people figure that out for themselves.
It's such a challenging world in marketing today. A lot of organized groups like Buy Idaho. It's just marketing. It's about getting the name out. I mean, it sounds like Buy Idaho is much more than that. We're doing some foundational business building stuff, some connection stuff. But my goodness, in the marketing sense, it's so challenging today.
It is.
There is no way to be new. Everything's been done. Everything's so hyper fantastic. So, I mean, gosh dang it, nearly overproduced. I mean, what sense do you get from people that are getting started
People are
up?
tired. People are tired. Like, it's so noisy out there, especially in the marketing world,
Sure.
right? And keeping up on what is going to get you in the algorithm or whatnot. But really, Idaho is so traditional, and it is really about building relationships. It's making those connections in person in the community. I mean, you can run ads all day long on Facebook, but when you need a plumber, you're calling your friend and asking who they recommend.
Yeah.
So it is relationships. And, I feel like it's like that across the nation, but specifically it is strong here in Idaho. Like we like to know who we're doing business with. So, we do networking. I always tell people you can network yourself out of a job, right? Because you spend all of your time networking. But there's ways to do it that has meaning, and you're building solid relationships, and you're building a core of, like your sphere of people that will help promote you in the community. So this program wasn't pre-scripted or anything. Jennifer and I are just catching up on the mics here. Yep.
And let's go to one of your favorite success stories. Let's talk about this business, something that happened, them coming through a challenge or a great thing happening.
Oh goodness, there's so many. Honestly, working with people for 10 years. I mean, there's a beard company called Better Man Beard. He and I met probably about 10 years ago, and right before he was in like the bridal magazines and things. He's just got a great product, and he's worked really hard to get his product out there. There is Targi brand jerky. They white label, they manufacture.
Okay.
Tanner, the gentleman that works there, and it's his family's company. He was a product of Idaho Correctional Industries. So he was an inmate for a while, and he got out, and he was a graduate of Idaho Correctional Industries, and now gives back by hiring inmates that are residents is what they're called, of Idaho Correctional Industries to help give them skills and education and a paycheck, and so that when they are exiting the program successfully, that they are filled with skills. So
and they get to go straight to an application to get back into the success of
and
life.
most of the time they have jobs when they're being released. If everybody out there listening, if you have not checked out Idaho Correctional Industries, you should. They're one of our largest manufacturers in the state of Idaho, and their program is absolutely amazing.
That is an example of taking a strife moment and turning it into an opportunity. We are lightly shaped by what we were, but it doesn't have to make us.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, their program is it's wonderful, and what they're doing for the community and the education that they're providing is phenomenal. So, I mean, Oma and Poppy's seasoning, they're fantastic. Janzar has been on our board for a long time.
Oh, that's cool.
And, he just partnered with the Targi brands and, coming out with their own jerky with his seasonings on it. I mean, there's so many cool
That is
things.
cool.
Yeah.
I love the whole idea of getting the businesses to network with each other, to engage in their products and services, to just support each other from within. Yeah. That is so cool to hear about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Jennifer Mauk of Buy Idaho. She's the executive director. And you should almost get your pens out. I used to say that on KIDO all the time. Just remember, write it down. Buy Idaho. Don't forget it. We got a holiday season coming up, but it's not just about the products. There's services too.
Services too, yep.
Things that we can do. So we've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay.
What would you like to share? Anything else coming up? What do you got going on?
I just want to share that any local business, any kind of resource that you may need, call us. regardless of membership status, we're here to support the community. Our membership is dirt cheap. It's $250 a year for a basic membership, which gets you pretty much everything. So, businesses, reach out, come join the tribe of people that are just really awesome in this community. And then, if you're a larger business, support it, because it's those small businesses that keep our economy going.
Yes.
And make the community super cool for your employees. Like the big businesses that are moving here, you want a unique town for your employees to live in.
100%.
So that's made by locally owned businesses.
And if you're going to buy Christmas gifts for the whole company, or you're going to need to, like you said, I'm sure there's plumbers or something like
anything,
that.
call us. That we're a fantastic resource for that. So anything. And then watch out for the holiday gift guide in the Idaho Press that we put out every year. So it'll tell you where to go to shop local, or just give us a call.
I'd love to help share that. It's been so nice visiting with you today. The time can go by very quickly, but there's time out there. You can always go to buyidaho.com, Jennifer, or buyidaho.org. You can get me, girl. You get it. Buyidaho.org. Buyidaho.org. Hey, you guys get it. You put Buy Idaho into Google. I guarantee you're going to find it.
Yep.
This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. Don't forget, Old Arms of Idaho. We love you, Idaho. KIDO.